Riverside.
Hello, and welcome into the Sad Fan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad from the previous week. And we got 2 weeks here, Wes. We got big Olympics. We've got rugby. We've got soccer. We've got basketball, men's, women's, track, swimming. Everybody just forgets about the swimming after the first week, but we had tons of swimming going on. Lots of medals there. And then, of course, we had the sport that everyone's been waiting for since it was announced, breakdancing. And that went incredible for the Australians, I have to say.
Has everyone really been looking forward to breakdancing?
Every single person.
This should be the only Olympics it's in.
It is the only Olympics it's going to be in. But
good.
Breakdancing, and I do think it's everything everyone's been looking forward to because it's the sport that has now gone the most viral. Why has this sport gone... It is thanks to Australia and thanks to Rachael Gunn and her absolutely mean dance moves. Insane. Her talent was crazy, off the charts. And do you know why she made the team, Wes?
I have no idea. I would love to know.
Because she has a doctorate in cultural movement. She has a doctorate in cultural movement. And I didn't watch the rest of the story. That's all I needed. That's all the ammunition I needed to go into this story with. And if you have not yet seen it, we will post the link in our chat in regards to what happened. Go ahead.
Yeah, so her name is Rachael Gunn, but her dance name is Raygun.
Raygun. I love it. It's fantastic, and it matches her style. Fearless is how I would describe it.
She received 0 points.
But she's fearless, right? She went out there. She did the kangaroo. She did the caterpillar. She scooted on her butt across the stage a couple times.
She tried to do the spinny head move, but she instead just put her head on the ground and kind of walked around, dragged it along the floor. I was like, what are you doing, lady?
Oh, that's called mopping the floor, Wes. Everyone in breaking knows that. So she liked to really move it in the. It was fantastic, and honestly, the best part of everything that was happening there with the Australian Rachael Gunn was watching the audience. Put your eyes on the audience there in any of the videos that have gone viral, or the single video that's gone viral because she was immediately eliminated, of Rachael Gunn breakdancing, and just watch the audience faces. I suppose my favorite right now is it's Peter Griffin. And another. That's been my favorite so far.
I'm not sure which is more disappointing for Australia. Having her represent them as a breakdancer or losing the bronze medal to the U.S. of frickin' A.
In breaking?
No, in rugby. Sorry, in rugby.
I was saying,
a sport, and they lost to bronze medal to USA, baby.
I was very confused there for a second. I was like, I thought Rachael Gunn wasn't up for a medal.
I forgot to add the rugby.
0 points.
I'm not sure which is more disappointing for them.
I don't know. I think this is just a national treasure for them. You know how famous she's going to be off this? You don't think she's going to get marketing campaigns based on how terrible she was?
I hope not. I hope she's just forgotten about.
Do you remember William Hung from American Idol? Do you remember William Hung?
Yes, I do.
He was a tiny Asian man that was a terrible singer, but he loved to sing. And he sang Ricky Martin. And he said, she bangs, she bangs. Oh, baby, when she moves, she moves. I go crazy. And she bangs, she bangs. And that was his tryout. And it was essentially Australia's move into breakdancing. And he got famous for a long time. He did an NBA Finals commercial. He's saying, we are the champions. You don't think Rachael Gunn is going to be famous off this? Of course she is. She has nowhere to go but up. She's already on the bottom. If you watch it, she even tried to do the snake, like I said. All right? So, nowhere to go but up for Dr. Rachael Gunn. But you're right, Wes. You're right.
I don't know.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just even looking at the stills, her face is hilarious. Like the faces she makes.
She's so pleased with herself.
She like this move. She's like this.
Yes.
At one point,
Yes.
I was like, "What is this?"
It was stuff she saw.
Salt. I think she did a somersault like a 5-year-old at one point.
She did do a somersault. Yes. She also crossed her legs and hopped on one foot with her hands on the ground, which was pretty great. That was fantastic.
I think she might have also done a reverse somersault.
A reverse somersault. Maybe like that might be a level 10 move for breakdancing. All right, is a reverse somersault rolling backwards. But you did bring up rugby, Wes, and we do have to talk about the USA women's rugby team, who were amazing this Olympics and got hit with a lot of stuff that the Algerian boxer got hit with, unfortunately, because we're so divided as a country. We can't just say, damn, these women were great. We've got to make stupid comments and say dumb things about athletes that just put their nation on its back and got a bronze medal over, like you said, one of the best rugby nations in the whole world. And Wes, how did she do it?
She went Marshawn Lynch on their asses. She stiff-armed one of the ladies and just sprinted her way down the field to bronze glory. Okay.
What were your thoughts?
U.S. has collectively sucked at rugby for so long. So this is like massive. Like, this is Rocky. Okay? Like, I was so psyched.
What went through your...
Well, it was funny because the Australians were just crying. They were sobbing. And I was like, suck it. Suck it.
So again, really quick so the audience can hear it, describe the play. Because how much time was on the clock? Let the audience that did not watch this rugby final know.
It was like 14 seconds. It was like when she started the run, and she finished it at 0 seconds, like as the clock ran out. And we were down by 5 points. And so in rugby, when you score, it's like football. You get 5 points, but then you get to kick, and the kick is worth 2 points. But the thing with rugby is where you score in the end zone is where you have to kick from. So, like, if you're in the center, you get an easy straight-on kick. But if you're, like, out at the side, then you have to kick it at a really hard angle, and usually you don't make it. But she was able to get right through the center, easy kick for the 2. We win.
Yeah, and I can't pronounce her name, but I think it's Ilana Mar. She was amazing on our rugby team, and she caught a lot of strays for no reason other than men are super insecure. But I'm going to say she is one of my favorite athletes from these Olympic Games. Did you see them testing out the Olympic beds, the rugby team, our women's rugby team?
No.
They released an Instagram video of all the things you could do on the Olympic beds. And it was pretty hilarious. It was pretty funny. They were like, give birth. And they like push a little rugby ball out. And then they're like, do your push-ups. And they're like, just die, like fall asleep. It was a very funny video of the rugby team showing what you could do with the French beds. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, audience, the beds are made of cardboard to keep the athletes from having sex, which is the dumbest thing. Can they just sleep together? They're adults.
Right.
Who cares? What are we doing? What are we doing here? They're all grown-ups. But
it's dumb.
It was
it's so dumb.
Our U.S. Women's Olympic Rugby team released a video of everything you could do on the beds in the hotels at the Olympics, and it was hilarious.
I'm going to take a note to watch it after this.
Yeah, do it. And I now follow her on Twitter. She's a treasure. She's hilarious. She's so funny. Everything she does is like creative and thought out, and she's just a funny person that's going to lead us to another medal in Los Angeles when the Olympics are there. So we've got the closing ceremonies today. It is going to be great, but we're not done talking Olympics yet because we had a big game just happen as we were filming. Team USA basketball, our women's basketball team.
Can we give it up to the women this Olympics? They carried our asses.
Oh, yeah. Our men were a major letdown.
Yeah, men's soccer, men's sprinting. But the women,
I don't want to say that quite. They won quite a few medals in sprinting. Like Noah Lyles still did win the 100 for the first time.
The 200 and the 4x100. Yeah. Like, come on, guys, get your crap together.
Yeah, we're a sprinting nation. It should be us in Jamaica, and we were letting some things down this year. Great Britain got to be in it. Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Those guys are long distance runners. Okay, not sprinters.
I don't know, Healy, the 800-meter runner. that won the gold for Great Britain. She was phenomenal, and there was no one even near her.
Was she? I didn't see that one.
One of the people I work with is a big track fan, and he had said that her biggest competition was actually another young lady from the United States who has left the sport to be a model. So he thinks that that's why Keely was so far and away the best competitor on the track. But
Wow.
You're right. Give it up for the women. They crushed it this year. Gabby Thomas being one, and she won not one, not two, but 3 gold medals at this year's Olympics. And I think she's the first one since Allison Felix, right?
She ran the 4x100, 4x400, and the 200, and won them all.
And just crushed it.
Yeah.
And she wasn't the pick to win the 200. She was not a popular pick, and she just all drive, all heart, crushed it, and won by a landslide in everything she did. Even the women's 4x4, they crushed it. Our women just destroyed the competition everywhere.
That 4x4 was amazing. Sydney McLaughlin, LeBron, I think. Yeah, dude, she crushed it in the 400 hurdles. She's so good her competition.
Yeah, crushed the world record too, right? She set a whole new world record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
she's phenomenal.
Her own that she set like 6 times now in the last 3 years.
Yep,
like
it's her own world record.
Imagine being that good and you're just like, no one's even competing with you. You're just breaking your own world record. You're like, whatever.
I'll just go get it again. It's fine. Yeah. No, she's phenomenally talented. I hope that she keeps it up and that we get her in Los Angeles as well. It is time for us to start prepping for that. But I want to give Gabby Thomas her dues. Wes, do you know where Gabby Thomas graduated from?
I do not.
Harvard University. All right.
Oh, that's right. I heard about that.
With a master's from Texas, and she minored in French.
Well, she can speak with the locals.
She's a genius. She's not over a hyper-talented athlete. She's a genius. So these athletes are so much more than, 1 minute on the track. There's so much more than you see.
Yeah, it's great. And then back to what you were talking about first before I cut you off, women's soccer.
Women's basketball and women's soccer. Women's basketball and women's soccer. So you're right. We'll start with women's soccer. That happened yesterday. 2 terrifying games in a row. But Team USA is back on top. And Emma Hayes, what a coach. What a coach. Yes. Can she coach the men too? Is that a possibility?
That was great.
Can we pay her double? Well, she is the first. Go ahead, Wes.
Oh, I was going to say, we could always, there's a women's coach up north that's looking for a job.
Oh, God. Spygate? Spygate Part 2? Spygate the Great North?
I'm glad Canada didn't win any medal. They got into the knockout round, which terrified me, but they got what they deserved, which is a big fat L.
The players didn't do it, though. That's not fair to them. Okay. But the nation definitely didn't deserve a medal after cheating. And obviously you need a scapegoat, right? Who knows how deep this actually goes? But they scapegoated the coach. It was all the coach's fault. The coach has been fired. But yeah, they did not get a medal. But man, Mallory Swanson, Sophia Smith, and Trinity Rodman have been so phenomenal at the front of our attack these Olympics. Literally unstoppable in a team that struggled to score in the last World Cup to come out and just obliterate opponents up to the final 2 rounds. It was amazing. It was amazing to watch.
I loved it.
Yeah, and you said Germany was too close for comfort. Tell me about your feelings during that game, your anxiety.
Like, we beat Germany, what was it, 4-0, I think, in the knockout round.
Mm-hmm.
I went into that thinking, like, we're going to kick the crap out of them. And then it was extra time, I think, when we finally scored. I was like, let's not do that again. Please don't give me a heart attack. Okay, that's what football season is for.
And we're getting close. We're getting close to football season.
20 days.
We already have preseason. I already showed you I'm already way too deep into NCAA college football 2025.
I need to get that game.
Unfortunately, I've already made it to the championship with my bad team. You always have to have a dynasty with a bad team. That's the key. Like, you do a dynasty with a bad team. I know you're all Oregon all day, but they're too good on the game. Like,
who's your bad team?
UNM, University of New Mexico.
Okay,
the Lobos. I'm the Lobos. Yeah, right. Makes sense.
Lobo.
I'm working on it. But then today we won the gold in basketball, and I think that was too close. I think our dominance in basketball is that
1 point over France.
which should never happen.
I agree. We have too much talent on the men's side and the women's side. Like, the men's team struggled against Serbia. I thought they were going to lose to Serbia.
Oh, I did too. I watched the whole game, but there were so many points in the men's game against Serbia where I was like, I'm going to turn this off. I don't want to see this.
Curry put the country on his back.
2 games in a row.
2 games in a row.
And you hate him.
In the final 2 minutes in the gold medal game.
And you hate him.
No.
Why do you hate him?
I do not hate him. I hate the Warriors. Okay, there's a difference. And I hate Draymond Green.
That's fair.
You hate.
Okay, that's fair.
Respect Curry for his greatness.
He's amazing. He's the best 3-point shooter ever to ever live. He's the
Absolutely.
best. It's crazy. He went out there and he's saying it from everywhere on the court, and they couldn't do anything about it.
No, they couldn't.
There's a beautiful shot, Wes, of Wembanyama, and it's Art But Make It Sports. And it's, if any of you follow an account on Twitter, I would follow Art But Make It Sports. But it's with Wembanyama coming out to block his shot and Curry getting such a high arch on the ball that it goes over Victor Wembanyama, who is 7'8", by the way. 7'8".
Giant.
And just launches it over him and nails the shot for 3. So, yeah, both games, Steph Curry brought us back from the brink of death. Well, actually, they pretty much had the gold medal game in hand the whole game. I'm just gonna I'm not gonna be hyperbolic.
But Curry put it away.
Yeah, I wasn't tense in the gold medal game like I was tense in the Serbia game. Like, you nailed it. I was worried about Jokic. Like, I really was.
Yeah, Jokic was on fire too. But there's one shot from the I think it was the Serbia game where it's LeBron and Curry and they're like all in each other's faces, like excited near the end, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, man, if we ever got those two as a team, like, it's too late now, but
I don't know if it's too late. I think that the trade deadline could show us something, but now that the Warriors lost Klay Thompson, which was a key piece in what would have been that trade last year, you might be right, but we'll see. Like, I would much rather have LeBron James, and maybe after playing with LeBron James, Steph Curry will be like, get rid of Draymond. Get rid of Draymond.
Here's the thing, though. LeBron's not leaving L.A. because they got his son.
That's true. That's a good point. They did sign Bronny.
Yeah, so it's like, you can't leave, bro. We got your son here.
We've got your son. We're holding your son to ransom.
That we should find a way to, like, ask our audience, hey, is the Los Angeles Lakers basketball team holding LeBron James' son for ransom? Is that what Rob Pelinka is doing? Is that, like, we think LeBron James fought to get him on the team, but are they actually telling him, no, we were going to draft this dude and you're going to stay here?
Yeah, and now we have a gun to his head. You can't leave.
They got him to a $7 million contract.
Right.
Goodness gracious, they didn't need to take it the full John Morant, but they definitely signed him for $7 million. I'm actually very excited to talk with you about the upcoming NBA season and the upcoming NFL season. We'll do a little bit of that towards the end of the show. But one of the races that you mentioned that I didn't forget about, but I wasn't considering as one of the best races in this year's Olympics was the 1500. And we had 2 medals in that, right? We got two medals.
Cole Hawker took gold. He was like 4th or 5th, like coming around like in the last lap, and then he just went for it. And he ended up getting gold. And it was great because so the guy who was like supposed to get gold, he was talking so much crap. He's like, I'm
Norwegian, right?
Yeah, he's like, I'm the best in the world. Like, there's nobody even close. And then there's the other guy who got silver the
British guy.
Yeah, and so like they have like a little rivalry. And near the end, he was like right next to him, and so they like kind of did like a little jockeying for position, and that allowed Cole Hawker to come on the inside and just pass them both. And then the Norwegian got passed by Negus, the guy who got bronze for U.S. And so we got 1st and 3rd. And the guy who was talking all the trash, 4th.
Yep.
Suck it, Norway.
He won the long race, though. What is it, the 3,000 meter or whatever?
Probably.
He just got the gold in that.
But
he crushed that one. And he was ahead by a lot in that race. Like, he's a great distance runner, but he even admitted after the race, he goes, I think I burnt too much energy in the first couple laps because he was running fast. In the first couple laps, and I think he burnt out.
It's crazy how fast those dudes are. Same with the marathon. 2 hours and 3 minutes or whatever to win the marathon. Like, bro, that's 13 miles an hour you're running.
The whole way.
Yeah.
The whole way. Not
You're
just a little while.
School zone for that.
Wes, you're a distance runner. Like, what does it take inside? Well, you've become a distance runner over the last few years since COVID. What is it? Well, you're better than me for sure now. What does it take to get to that level where you're just, where does your headspace go when you're running for 5 miles and you can't have headphones in? What are you thinking?
You just meditate in your own thoughts. Like, it's actually kind of peaceful, and you just like self-reflection. It's like meditation almost, especially if you can just like keep a nice steady speed and like you're not like worried about your heart rate spiking, and you can just run and run and run, and you just go on autopilot. And it's for me, it was transformative, I'd say.
Yeah, when you started doing it, because you started doing the obstacle course stuff with me because of COVID, essentially, what COVID did to you and what you had to go through. And then you take things too far, man. You take things too far.
Dude, I love endurance sports. I watched the triathlon. I watched every minute of the men's and women's triathlon and the mixed relay triathlon.
Throw-up race. What happened there, Wes? What caused all of this throwing to the vomiting all over that race? What was that?
Well, you're tired, bro. You just ran. You ran. Okay, so you ran 6 miles. You biked, what was it, like 25, 26 miles, I think, and then you swam for like almost another mile before that. You're tired, okay? I get the Seine River is crap. It's disgusting, but he wasn't throwing up at the end from the river, okay? The people throwing up the next day was from the river. The people shitting their brains out the next day was from the river, okay? They definitely said, oh, it's safe, but I would like to see the test. But also, if I was in the Olympics, I wouldn't care. Because for me, you're training 4 years for this, and it's like, whatever, I'll deal with diarrhea for the next 4 days, as long as I still get to compete in the frickin' Olympics.
You did a great job, Wes, of being very diplomatic there. We should have sent you in place of some of our athletes, because the way you danced around the river being nasty was phenomenal. You didn't touch on it till the very end of your point, and then when you hit it very gently. Very gently. You didn't want to blame the river too much. You kept a very clear head as it pertained to that river.
Look, the athletes knew it was nasty, and they still chose, okay? But the thing that's really bad was the marathon swim. I think this is the first year they're doing marathon swim. It's a 10K swim, 6 miles in that river. I would not do that. I would do a mile if I was in the Olympics, but I don't know if I could do 6 miles in that thing.
I don't know if I'd get in that water at all.
And here's the thing. So Paris has spent like 3 years trying to clean it up for the Olympics, but they were spending a lot of money, and then so protesters were taking dumps in the river as a way of protest. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
I think they spent $1 billion to clean that up.
Yeah.
And
trying to clean it up also for like the citizens and stuff like that. Like, if it's clean now and they can keep it clean, people can swim in it, it's frustrating. I know they tried really hard, but also I think it should have just been somewhere else, like in the countryside or something like that. Paris is France is beautiful countryside. And I know they wanted it in the center of Paris for like the sights and the crowd, but like do a lake or something, a ride along the country. That's what people like.
Do somewhere clean, please. Can we do somewhere clean? Anyway, we need a shout out to Jordan Chillis, Suni Lee.
Yes.
And of course, the GOAT, Simone
Biles. Man, right? She killed
was it Jade Carey? Who were the other two that we had on this team this year? I've been looking to. I want to give the other two a shout out as well.
Simone.
But those were the big three in these Olympics.
She came back. Tokyo was rough on her.
Yeah.
And she came back like the GOAT she is and shut all of her critics up. And you know what? Like, she spoke out about mental health, and I'm glad she did.
She did, and she put it in all the haters' face, right? Like, this one went out to all the haters as she went out there and absolutely crushed everything. And I don't know if she has a competitor, to be honest. I mean, we could pretend like the people that beat her in the floor exercise, the Brazilian that beat her is a competitor, but she's not. She's not. It's fine. People don't win everything. She's untouchable.
Wasn't the floor exercise? Was it the
beam?
Yeah, it was the beam.
And she's untouchable on the vault. Absolutely untouchable on the vault. And
yeah.
Suni Lee, everything that Suni Lee had to come back from. I don't know if you read about her health scares, but she swelled up at the University of Auburn, didn't know if she was going to compete, had to take a year off, had to get back into competition shape, rounded out back into competition shape. I was right. It was Jade Carey. So it was, Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jordan Chillis, and Jade Carey. But she had to get herself into crazy shape to come back out here. And then she comes out and wins medals, right? She's on the women's all-around team. She gets a bronze medal on her own. Like, they came out here and they dominated again. And our women's gymnastics team has just become a gem. They're just untouchable as far as the sports
really
concerned.
Are. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Screw China.
And now no one can say Simone Biles is not the GOAT of the Olympics. She absolutely is. Like, when you say her name, you better insert a "bah" in the middle of it, because she is just the best. Yeah, exactly. She's just the best. She's untouchable. And Suni Lee, for everything that she went through after she stepped in when Simone Biles was having her difficulties in Tokyo and carried us to another gold medal in those Olympics. Like, this team, this team is phenomenal. This team is untouchable, and it's going to go down as one of the greatest Olympic gymnastic teams of all time.
I agree.
But you know where we're going to get our act together?
Right next to 2016.
Yeah. You know where we got to get our act together, though, Wes? Swimming. Where? Men's swimming. What happened?
Can you come back, Phelps? We miss you, bro.
Do something. Can we steal some of your DNA and inject it into some of these swimmers? What is going on with our men's swimming teams?
We were not that good this year.
No, not what we're accustomed to. I will say, it was funny, is someone says the USA is the only nation in the world where people aren't happy with you if you finish in second or third place. And I would say to that, Ricky Bobby, bitches.
Yeah. If you're not first, you're last.
But yeah, we do have a high expectation on these athletes, but I do want to make sure we are giving every athlete roses, because we took home over 100 medals at this year's Olympics. All right.
Unfortunately, we tied with China in the gold medal count, but we get the tiebreaker for the most medals.
You know what surprised me, though, Wes, about you?
What?
We, even in pre-production, went over all these Olympics, right? We, in pre-production, went over everything you wanted to talk about. And the one that I felt like most identified with you didn't even bring up. The Turkish silver medalist that walked in with no eye protection, no ear protection, took out his air pistol, and got a silver medal. Really? You haven't even seen him?
No.
He's wearing jeans and a sweatshirt that, like, basically barely says Turkey on it. And he has no ear protection, no eye protection, and he went out there and shot a silver medal. And here's the best part, Wes. Do you know where his other hand was? In his pocket. The whole time. He kept his hand in his pocket the whole time. And I'm sure, as I'm talking, you could look up Turkish silver medalists, and he will pop up right away. Later,
but yeah.
He will pop up right away. But he went viral, and everybody was like, this was my take on the Turkish silver medalist. I think Turkey was like, we need somebody. Who could we get? And he took a drag off his cigarette and said, I'll do it. Threw the cigarette to the side and just walked in and got a silver medal for his country.
That's amazing.
Which is where I thought you would take us.
And gear and stuff like that, and they got, like, they just look weird. Yeah.
I don't know. The South Korean shooter looked like she was a villain in a damn James Bond movie. She looked intense. She had so much gear on. And then there was one more controversy, Wes, before we shift gears into new sports. Did you see one of the archers, I believe it was from South Korea, she lost because a bee landed on her finger right as she was about to take a shot?
Oh. That's awful. That sucks.
Yeah. That was another one where there was a lot of memes and notes that were like, could you imagine training 4 years of your life and then a bumblebee takes away your medal? I was like, man.
Sucks.
Right, the elements got her.
Also, North Korea won 6 medals.
Did they?
That shocked me, yeah. 2
In
silvers
what,
and 4
badminton?
bronzes. One of them was ping pong,
Okay.
but I think another one was diving. I want to say. I think they won like synchronized men's diving, or they got like silver or something like that.
I don't know. I know the Chinese dominate diving.
It's ridiculous how good they are at diving. How did they win every gold medal at diving? Like, dude, they raise these kids from like as soon as they walk, they just like start shoving them off diving boards.
Right? They're ultra talented divers. They could bend their bodies to. How do you know what the other? It's all counting too, right? It's all numbers because they're counting their heads when to do the movements in the synchronized diving. Like they're so crisp with their movements. They're so on point.
I just don't understand.
I don't either. But they keep getting gold medals in this sport.
There's one other thing that I want to bring up, and shout out to the Hashimi sisters. So these 2 sisters are from Afghanistan. They flew under the old Afghanistan flag before it was taken back over by the Taliban. They fled in 2 years ago, I think, when the Taliban took back over. These girls were cycling in Afghanistan when everyone was like booing them because like they're supposed to be inside, like being homemakers. They were cycling in Afghanistan, and then they fled to, I want to say, France, I think, and they made the Olympics under Afghanistan, and they actually did pretty good. They didn't medal, but like it's great, and they spoke out, so props to them.
For sure. You always love a feel-good story like that, and I think we're going to get some feel-good stories out of this year's NFL preseason, Wes. And I've got to ask you, are you ready to overreact in the preseason to who's starting, who's being benched, who's going to be great, and who's not?
Okay, I just want to say, why on God's earth did we pick up Sam Howell for the Seahawks? He was garbage as a Commander, Redskin, whatever. Like, why do we love crap quarterbacks? Come on. Generational talent at quarterback.
I did not know this was where this was going to go. I haven't watched a second of preseason, and the Raiders played last night, and all I did was look to see who played. But you did. I hate preseason ball.
Played okay, but it doesn't matter. He was garbage in real life games as at Washington, D.C. Why did we pick him up? I've been wanting to talk about this for a while.
You're so mad about it, and you said as a Washington, D.C. You couldn't even say Washington Commanders because you were so mad. So talk to me. So why are you very mad about Sam Howell being picked up?
He sucks. I want someone good. I want a generational talent at quarterback. How hard is that? Okay?
You had Russell Wilson for like 9 years.
Yeah, he was really good for like 6 years. And then it kind of started getting like diva. He became a diva. Okay? I want the next freaking I'm so angry right now. I want the next Tom Brady. Give me the next Tom Brady. I want the next Patrick Mahomes.
You know who else wants the next Patrick Mahomes? 31 other NFL teams. They all want him. And the funny thing is, everyone thinks they have him. Like, who is the closest, in your opinion, to Patrick Mahomes right now?
Maybe Tua?
No, that was dumb, what you said.
Josh Allen? I'd say Josh
Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, maybe.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, yeah. Tua's got a good arm, though. Tua's got a really good arm. He
doesn't. He's just accurate, man. He does not put enough air into those passes. What you're being fooled by is how fast his wide receivers are. His wide receivers are so fast that they just need 10 yards to get past their defender. That's it. That's all they need, or to find a hole in the defense. And he's got a great coach calling. McDaniel is great at calling offense, man.
So I would settle for a Joe Burrow. As a Seahawks fan, I would settle for a Joe Burrow or a Josh Allen. Would you
settle for a Joe Burrow?
Yes.
You're ridiculous right now. What about Jared Goff?
No, he's too old.
Okay, so we can't give you a Jared Goff. I want to see where is this going to go. Would you take C.J. Stroud from the Texans?
Unproven.
Unproven. Okay, like you need an all-star right away. Proven. Like you need Lamar Jackson tomorrow. Like that's who you need.
I take Lamar.
Yeah, of course you would. Who wouldn't take Lamar Jackson? Just the Chiefs. All right. Like, what are you doing over here? I wonder where. Would you take Kirk Cousins?
No.
Not
in 1,000 years. Screw that guy.
Bo Nix.
I'd take him as backup right now.
as a backup.
We'll see what he ends up being. I think he'll be good, but
What about Jordan Love?
maybe he's got. I don't know if he'll be generational, but I think he could win a Super Bowl at Green Bay.
All right, this is the last one I'm going to throw at you. Would you take Brock Purdy?
No. No. Screw that guy. He came out in San Francisco.
Oh, man. All right, well, we look forward to giving you this show next week. We're going to be bringing you the NFL preseason takes. We're a week in. We've got some games going now. And, Wes, when does that college football season kick off? Because that is coming up fast and furious.
I said earlier, 20 days. At least that's when Oregon starts, the 31st of August.
So here we go. It is football season, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be seeing me again at 4 a.m. Unfortunately, for my lifestyle and sleep habits, that's going to suck. But we do it to bring you all of the action that happened on Sunday. So we are looking forward. Go ahead.
Though, it makes me sad that football season is about to start because that always means the end of summer. And summer is my favorite season.
Show. You said that last show, that exact sentence.
The end of summer brings a depression to me that only football can cure.
If Oregon is good.
If Oregon's good. And
you can survive. No, I think you can survive the Seahawks not being good. I do. You get mad in the moment. The team that ruins your whole year if they're bad is Oregon.
Yes. They're the ones that make me cry.
There you go. There you go.
Unless it's happy tears.
The last story I will tell is there was once a game, and I give Wes a hard time. Like we are hardcore sports fans as much as we joke on here, and I give Wes a hard time all the time. I used to always tell Wes that Oregon could never, when we lived in the dorms together, Oregon could never make it out of California undefeated, ever, ever, ever. And he's like, "Oh, what about this? What about blah, 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 blah." And every time they would lose to like a Stanford or a UCLA. Or just the worst, they beat USC, but then they go on to lose to like Cal out of no. And there was a game, and I believe it was against like a Stanford or a Cal, and we're all watching it in Wes's room, and he had a big TV back then. And Wes, I've given Wes a hard time the whole game, just talking mad shit. And at the end, Oregon does lose, and Wes kicked every person out of his room and exclamation pointed it by slamming his dorm room door.
I was pissed.
Part of that's me egging you on.
Yeah, you like to do that. You like to push the buttons.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Go on, Wes.
I just want to say a quick goodbye and a thank you to Paris for hosting a memorable Olympics, especially after the doldrum that was Tokyo. I get it. They had COVID. They didn't want people in the stands. But it was so good to see people back. And it was awesome seeing everyone celebrating with their family. I don't care what country. And it was fun. I love the Olympics. And Paris was a good time. So thank you, Paris. Thanks for the memories.
And it's time to send it off to LA, and we will send you off into your week.
I'll be there in 4 years.
Thank you so much for joining us each and every week for everything that we do here at The Sad Fan. We appreciate you. Remember to follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on whatever you get everything from. We are there. We will see you next week.